All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something super important, how you go from having that hard-earned degree to actually landing your first job in the pharma industry. It's a tough world out there, but we're going to break down how to walk in with confidence and get that offer.
So look, you've put in the years, you've mastered the science, and that is a massive accomplishment, for sure. But here's the thing, landing that dream pharma job, that's a whole different ballgame. It takes a unique strategy, because it's not just about what's in your head, it's about proving you're the one for the job when you're sitting across from that interviewer.
And trust me, this is not your average run-of-the-mill interview. Oh no, the pharma industry puts you through what's basically a gauntlet. You might be looking at assessment centers with group exercises, complex case studies, and then there are the interviews themselves. It's often this multi-stage marathon where you're talking to HR, then your potential boss, and sometimes, the entire team you'd be working with. It's intense.
So, how do you even begin to tackle that? Well, success here isn't about just getting lucky or trying to wing it. Nope, it's all about building a really solid, systematic foundation. And that foundation, it rests on three key pillars. Okay, these three things are your absolute must-dos, non-negotiable. First up, you've got to do deep, pharma-specific research on the company. We'll get into what that means. Second, you need to do a really honest self-analysis of your skills and figure out exactly where you fit. And third, and this is a big one, you need to get your head in the game, the mental prep to stay cool, calm, and collected through the whole process.
Now, when I say deep research, I'm not just talking about a quick scan of their website. You have to go way beyond that. We're talking about really understanding their product pipeline, their recent regulatory submissions. What hurdles have they faced? You need to know their medical value story. That's the narrative they use to show a drug's value. You should even know who their key opinion leaders, or KOLs, are. Those are the top docs who influence the whole field. When you bring up this level of detail, it shows you're not just a candidate. You're already thinking like you're part of the team.
Okay, so once you've got that foundation of knowledge locked down, you need the right tools in your toolkit. Why? Because it's not enough to just list off your accomplishments. You have to tell the story of what you've done, and you have to tell it in a way that's really, really powerful.
And your secret weapon for that? It's the STAR method. I'm telling you, this is the ultimate storytelling tool. It's a super simple, structured way to answer those dreaded, tell me about a time when questions. It helps you turn your experiences into these clear, compelling stories that give interviewers exactly what they're looking for. Concrete proof of what you can do.
And it's so easy to remember. It's just a 4-part framework. S is for situation. You just set the scene. T is for task. What was your objective? What were you supposed to do? A is for action. This is key. What did you personally do? And R is for result. And this is the big finish. What was the positive, measurable outcome of your work? Let's look at a real example. See how this works? It's specific. It's structured. You've got the situation, a tight deadline. The task, prepare a huge document. The action, I created a plan, I ran check-ins, I consulted experts, and the result, on-time submission, FDA accepted it, no questions asked. Boom. You deliver an answer like that, all in under 2 minutes, and I guarantee you it makes a huge impact.
All right, now let's talk about how to get that insider's edge. This is what takes you from being just another good candidate to being the one they feel they absolutely have to hire. And it all comes down to one thing: showing them, strategically, the unique value that only you can bring.
And to do that, you need to think about your value in 3 different ways. And look, these aren't just random talking points. This is a framework for your entire interview strategy. Using this framework shows them you're not just thinking about the job description, you're thinking about your long-term impact on the company. So you need to frame everything you say around these 3 questions. Number 1, what problems can I solve for you, like on day 1? Number 2, what am I going to improve for you in the midterm? And number 3, looking at the big picture, how am I going to help you reach your long-term strategic goals? And you've got to remember, this added value pitch isn't one size fits all. You have to tailor it. You know, if you're interviewing at a huge global corporation, they're probably looking for a specialist who can slot right into a very structured system. But if it's a mid-sized, more agile company, they might be looking for a generalist, someone with a hands-on, get-it-done attitude who can pivot quickly. You have to know who you're talking to.
Okay, we're on the home stretch, but how you finish the interview is just as critical as how you start. Seriously. This is your last chance to really drive home how competent and enthusiastic you are. So let's talk about how to nail the ending and lock in that great impression.
So at the end, when they inevitably ask, "Do you have any questions for us?" your answer is always yes.
But please, don't ask about something you could have found on Google in 10 seconds. Ask smart, strategic questions. Things like, how do you actually measure success for this role and for the team? Or, what are the biggest hurdles I'd be facing in my first 6 months? Asking questions like these shows you're not just looking for a job, you're genuinely engaged, and you're interviewing them too.
Here's another super simple but seriously powerful tip, the 24-hour rule. Within a day, you need to send a short, professional thank you email. Make sure it's personalized. Mention something specific you talked about. It just reminds them who you are, shows you're on top of things, and keeps you at the front of their minds. It's a small thing that makes a big difference.
So, if there's one golden rule to take away from all of this, it's this. You have to completely shift your mindset. Stop thinking about what you want. Instead, frame every single answer, every question, from their perspective. What problems can you solve for them? What value can you bring to their team? When you do that, you change the entire conversation. It's no longer about, are you qualified enough? It becomes, wow, how can we afford to let this person go?